All right, we are rolling.
We are rolling. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Today with Jared James. What is so funny?
I don't know.
That's very interesting. Usually it's like, oh, it's casual, but you're like, we are rolling.
We are
Everybody, let's go.
I'm doing a bunch of
Like
different
super
things. As you
anxious.
know, I'm doing a bunch of different things right now. The most important thing I'm doing right now is we're trying to get you some eyeliner or something like that.
Yeah, I need some. I need to make this place more like home.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to buy my stuff.
You mean like I've already got all my stuff at your place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. So if anybody sees me in the middle of the podcast, pick up my phone. It's not breaking news. I am
We're
messaging with the Instacart
An
shopper.
eyebrow pencil.
yeah, because time is of the essence. So if you see me do that, I'm taking care of my baby girl.
Thank
so,
you.
On that note, Miss Linda James, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. You know how I am. We've been together.
Chill.
We got big plans today. Got the fantasy draft at the office.
We do.
Yeah, we have done. Tom, when I say prep,
Yeah.
look out. Which, by the way, I think, do we have to like re-enter the league?
No, you're there.
Okay, I was gonna say because
You're
I haven't done
Oh,
anything.
yeah, I don't know any of that
haven't.
stuff.
I haven't activated my team. I haven't like anything.
No, that's my job. I activate things.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I'm the commissioner.
Are we still doing coaches?
Yeah.
Tom, it's
Head
got to
coaches,
stop. It's
yes.
got to stop. It's got to stop.
It only helps you unless that team loses real badly, and then I think it's like -5 points for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Tom does a drafting that's just super weird.
It's
so
incredible. Who wouldn't want head coaches?
This will be Linda's 9th team of the year. I mean, you're just in all
I'm a
sorts
filler.
of fantasy leagues.
I'm just a filler, everybody.
Yeah.
Just a filler.
She's gonna be asking me, babe, who do I draft?
No.
It says Tiki Barber's available.
You gotta get him.
The way I pick
first
my
round.
people, and you know this, it's based on names that I like.
Does that
and
work for you?
Names that I like and know, and this is really awkward.
It's not awkward, guys.
Sure,
I think I
great.
was pretty clear that this is priority right now.
This is that.
So we're gonna tell the guy yes. There we go, and we got you filler. So there you go, men. That's how you take
And
care
we're
of
not
your lady
talking
right
lip
there.
filler, people.
Yeah, not filler. What's it called? Liner?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. It's all the same to me.
Okay.
It's a lady product, which that could go to another place. So we won't.
Anyways,
We won't do that.
okay. So how many drafts are you in? Not
Just
drafts.
two.
What are they called?
Just two. I don't
Fantasy
have. I'm in another one where someone asked me last second. Some friends in town or whatever. It's a money one, and I probably shouldn't have. This time of the year is like my crazy busy season, and we have the advance coming up, and it's just tough for me to concentrate. I mean, I was even trying to talk Tom out of doing the office one. I'm like, do we really need to? I don't know. Yeah, I know you did. And what did I say to you? I said, Tom seems pretty gung-ho. I'm gonna back off of this. This seems like something he wants to be doing. So it's just tough to concentrate, though, because there's so many things going on. But, that'll be the year I win, though, because the people who don't care are the ones who win, you know?
Yep.
So yeah. I'm only in a couple, but we're doing one today. I've already done the other one. Even the other one I rushed out. I think the last 4 picks or something, I was just like, auto draft. Guys, I got to go. I forget what I was going to. I think I was picking up my son for dinner or something. I was just like, guys, I got to go. So we'll see. Even today, I was like, hey, we need to start it on time.
Right at
Got
4.
somewhere to go. In fact, if we can start early, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. So anyway,
I'm excited about that. It's more like team bonding. Just get
yeah,
together.
that's
It's
exactly
friendly
right. That's why I didn't
vibe.
put up a fight.
And it's cool, like, because I'm hardly here, so it's really great to see the team also.
Yeah, it's
That's it. A little bit of
that's
happy
exactly
hour.
right. That's why I didn't put up a fight. So fantasy draft, here we go. I should have done like I've done in past years and said like, guys, who are the sleepers? I usually put out a social post and try to like find out like who are the sleepers. I don't know. I said that to you. I'm like, I got to figure out who the sleepers are. And you're like, you know everything about sports.
I know.
And I'm like, yeah, but there's a difference between like understanding sports and like understanding who the guys are coming up. And I probably do know more than I give myself credit for, but there's still just these diamonds in the rough. But as we all know, although this is not a fantasy podcast, the fantasy draft is won in the waiver wire every year. That's where it's won. Some running back is going to come up out of nowhere. Someone's going to pick them up. Some wide receiver, some fantasy drafts, babe, are won on the waiver wire. Meaning the draft, everybody who's drafting in the first round, second round, third round, you know who these players are. you can lose based on them getting hurt. I remember the one year I've drafted Tom Brady was the year he got hurt in the first half and out for the season.
Tom Brady.
Although I did have Peyton Manning in his record season. That was a winner.
There you go.
I won that league.
Yeah, you
Okay. But everyone's got talented players in the beginning, and it's so close of what makes these players, the best or not the best, just they're all right there. The waiver wire, though, where you pick up nobodies, how deep your team goes, that's where you win. And so these drafts are great, but really it's going to be about the waiver wire. And the problem is that's the time I don't have is the week to week looking at,
What's so funny is I'm the person, because I'm a filler, I'm the person that it's like you don't want me at the blackjack
By the way,
table.
we're not talking about a filler like the lady product.
No.
We're talking about a
It's
filler.
like I'm the person that sits down at the blackjack table that ruins everyone's hand. That's me. I'm like, oh, this person, and you're like, no.
Isn't it funny though that person who always gets
good.
angry is the only reason they get angry is because they're losing so bad, and you're like, you should want me to mess up the deck.
Yeah.
Like what do you mean? I'm helping you.
So I'll be randomly picking a person that I have no idea if they're good or not, but apparently he's a great player.
Yeah.
And I pick,
Yeah.
and then it screws everyone else's pickings up, whatever the case may be.
No one's gonna care today. We'll be
It's
all
gonna
good.
be fun.
It's
People
all
will
good. Just
care
don't
today.
pick a head coach
They
in the
will.
second round.
People will care.
Yeah, people
I
will.
personally.
Tom will care. Tom, are you in other leagues?
I think I'm in 5 or 6.
Listen to him. I think I'm in 5 or 6.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I can't keep track of them all. I have no idea. I had one last night. I have one tonight. And then I have a few.
So you don't
coming
pick
up.
the same players, or you try to?
I try to just because
okay.
I'm like, ooh, I think that's a good team. But sometimes.
Your
it just
mic's
doesn't-
on, right? Because
Yeah.
I realized on one of our YouTube videos, your
Yeah,
mic
no,
was
it wasn't
not
on.
on, and I was like, I hope people can hear what I heard it back when I was listening to it.
Yeah.
Here I probably should warn you beforehand that when we're doing a solo YouTube video, I might talk to you.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, that probably doesn't seem like a normal thing to do, but you know me.
Yeah.
I'm so spontaneous. I'm like, there's Tom.
That's true.
What's up, man? What do you think? Whatever.
I'm just like, hey.
Hey, Mike was not ready. I was producer Tom right now. I was not planning on talking to you,
Yeah.
but I think lesson learned, if you're going to do anything with me, you have to be prepared that,
You're going to be called out.
all bets are off. Whatever. Whatever the rules are, we're just going to kind of go with it. So, we have got, babe, unless you have anything else you want to discuss on a personal level, we have got, we're not going to do it now, but we've been doing a lot lately, trying to shop for the advance and, all that stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's a whole thing. It's funny because a lot of people are like, what shoes do you wear? Whatever. And you guys don't realize how little I actually I care, but I don't I just feel like I can put it together, whatever. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you look good and sound terrible or have bad content, who cares? But God, it seems like every podcast lately, I always say the dust hasn't settled. We have some serious things to cover today.
Mm-hmm.
We have some
Yeah.
real serious things to cover today.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what order we want to go in. What do you want to
I
do?
think we start with, the hottest topic was something that came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been digging deeper into this, but super interesting the further I deep into it. Plaintiff Josh Sitzer?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Sitzer?
Yeah. You're the one that told
Starts
me.
his own real estate company, everybody. Woohoo! How interesting is this? Okay, now this is, if you want to kind of elaborate who Josh is for those that don't know, but the plaintiff in the NAR settlement.
In the main NAR settlement. So that was the Sitzer Molzer, I think it's called, case.
Okay.
So the main case, this is so beyond corrupt. And Tom, I don't even think you know this yet.
No, I don't really know many things.
So you understand the whole, there's all these lawsuits going on, and how, they went after the industry, and they accused the industry of price fixing and collusion, and how people didn't have choice, which was utter bullcrap. So the main plaintiff, the home seller who started it all, Josh Sitzer, who sold his home in 2017, started the whole thing, and he came out and he whined, and in 2019 the case officially was opened up. No one expected it to go anywhere. And
Saying he was forced.
saying that he was
What
we
was the
now
term?
find out that it all started because the attorney who was in the case was his neighbor. And he was talking to him in 2019, and he was complaining, and he was going, I was forced to pay 3%. I was coerced. I had no other choice. There weren't 12,000 other agents in your area.
No other options.
There wasn't other people who would negotiate and do whatever they want. There wasn't, what we call discount brokerages, but now that's not okay because it means that they were, whatever. It was less than the standard. It was, there wasn't the option of doing for sale by owner. He was forced, and he cannot allow this to happen to other home sellers. And he began the massive case that affected millions of not only agents' lives, but their families' lives. And we now find that he started a real estate startup.
Nice.
Leveraging the new rules he fought for.
Shame on him.
Wow.
Honestly,
And
so disgusting.
I mean, all of this so that he could start a flat fee brokerage. Newsflash, that already exists.
Yeah.
Already exists. You didn't need to do that. But let me just kind of touch on something right now, because I've been getting a lot of messages from people lately. And there are two things that I want to cover. Number one, I would really like to ask Mr. Sitzer if this new flat fee brokerage he started, if the flat fees are negotiable. Because the whole point was about price fixing. So was it at a certain level? When is an acceptable level?
Yeah.
Was it at 3% or was it at your flat fee?
Oh, yeah.
So the real question I want to ask Mr. Sitzer after all of this, after ruining so many people's lives, after hurting so many families, after making housing unaffordable for so many home buyers in our country now that you got to create your startup, is your fee negotiable?
That's a great question.
Because according to his site, it is not negotiable.
It's
These
flat.
are the fees.
These are flat fees.
So wait, it's not the free market?
No.
It's not? You mean your price is acceptable, but now your competitors, which is what everyone else is now, is not acceptable. So it wasn't about being able to negotiate. It was about creating your startup and creating rules that supported your startup. This is sickening on such a level, and couldn't be more 2024. We live in America than this right here, where everybody in the world is protected. Everybody's speech is protected. Everything everybody wants to be is protected. People can act like cats and dogs in my son's school, and they're protected. But you go after people actually working, and you go after people who actually put it on the line every day. You go after people who are actually fighting for their families and only eating what they hunt and doing. No, they're not protected. But then this gentleman, because he is represented by attorneys and there's litigation, he's protected. It is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Quite honestly, for him to have the audacity to even now go into the real estate space and do this. I mean, and agents are signing up. Apparently, I don't know. There's testimonies. Who knows if they're real or not, right?
Yeah.
But they're jumping into this really not knowing.
It's disgusting.
It is.
It is, and that is the question I would like to ask Mr. Sitzer. That's the question I'd like to ask Michael Ketchmark. Are you going to go after him? That seems like the consumer doesn't have choice. Because if you made the argument before they didn't have choice when they had all those other options, it was with the individual that they were dealing with. How do you have somebody come out with a flat fee who just sued the industry
I have a
and
question,
say
though.
you don't have choice anymore either?
I have a question though. I wonder if he's leveraging the fact that he is not. They're claiming they're not a brokerage.
Well, what are they claiming?
They're a system that is on the buyer side of the transaction supporting
God, this
home
is
buyers,
what happens when
right?
you get attorneys
So
involved.
I wonder if it's like, okay, yeah, we're
Give me
not
a
licensed
break.
brokers, we're not licensed agents, we're a platform that's going to support those buyers, right?
So let me see if I got
From
this right.
taking the money
So
from-
the people in the real estate industry were right for what they were doing, but they were wrong because they had a license? Is that their argument?
Literally, I think that's
Is
what
that
protects,
their argument?
I think that's what protects him.
God.
Hey, we're not a brokerage. You can't go after us.
I'm sorry, but sometimes I
But
can't. Sometimes
you
I
know
can't
what?
stay in this world. Sometimes I just go, what happened to common sense? Like, this is idiocy on a level that is just like, it seems like in today's world, all you have to do to protect yourself from what you are is to call somebody else that thing first. And as long as you call somebody else that thing first, then you will be protected from being that thing. And so while they're talking about these greedy realtors and they're not willing to negotiate and they're not willing to, whatever, he goes and affects millions of lives just to alter the rules for his own startup, which is not negotiable. Wasn't that the whole point with the fixed? I don't understand.
What?
How does the legal system not come back around now and go, hey, we made a mistake. You are a sick, whatever. We're gonna pull back on that.
Yeah.
We're within our annulment period here. We done screwed up.
What's also very frustrating, kind of like digging like deeper into this and reading like the Q's and A's on here and
what's the name? By the way, what's the name of the
policy.
company? What's the name of the what is it? The name of his startup?
Landian.
Landian. Okay.
And
that's a mixture of land and guardian, right? If I remember correctly, I read about that. Yeah. It's a mixture of land and guardian.
who are the founders, right? They won't name him, the original startup. They're not going to name Josh.
That's funny.
Landian was a co-founder by Bryce Gallion, I think is the last name, a seasoned technology entrepreneur, along with a team of advisors. I'm pretty sure they're attorneys, engineers, and real estate professionals. That is what frustrates me. I don't know if they're realtors, right? But the fact that the real estate professionals are a part and they're founders of this also, just, I mean, those are the people, how would you want to do business? I wouldn't want to do business with them.
Well, here's a better question. When you say I wouldn't want to do business, so this model he's put forth is basically $50 per showing, whatever it is, $249 to put together prep work for your documentation and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting here going, you got to love the story they tell, because he was coerced, he was forced, like he was gagged and put into you're going to pay 3% and whatever. And so then he starts this whole startup because he was too weak to say no or choose someone else. He had to do 3%. And then he creates a startup where now they are going to go start doing prep and doc work and help you with negotiations. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to pay you specifically, your company, to help me negotiate when you were too weak to understand that you had a million options, but you couldn't find anything less than 3%. Now I'm going to pay you to do that for me? What? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, literally, what is wrong? And I want to touch on something else here. So just give me a moment, because I went for a run today.
When he goes for a run, it's like putting his thinking cap on.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. That's 100% correct. And today's run was supposed to be reserved for the advance, but it wasn't. I was thinking about this because as much as this angers me and as much as it disturbs me and bothers me, and I still always try to zoom out and think about it from all sides, okay? And one of the things that that I keep hearing, I always try to, like I've said many times, I can't read all the comments on my videos, but I try to go read threads quickly, like what's the overall, because usually there's an overarching thread, so to say. And one of the things that came about from the last video I put out on this is that you have the initial surge, which is just support, but then it goes to non-followers, and you get a lot of non-support. And those are the ones I want to hear from. And the thing they kept saying over and over again was, oh, realtors, you don't want competition, you don't like disruption, you don't like it when you get disrupted, you're just like the travel agency, you're just like, and they try to say these kinds of things. And first off, for anybody out there that thinks that buying a home that you're going to live in that is a physical asset is the same thing as buying a vacation, you need to step back and think about what you're saying. That is dummy. There's no other way to say that. You don't understand what you're saying, okay? But for those that say that the real estate industry has an issue with disruption or any of those things, what I would tell you is this. I think some people do have a problem accepting disruption. I'm not denying that. But I'm talking about myself right now, where I look at it and I always kind of go, disruption's good when it wins, when it's the free market. And I think the biggest issue that people have with this is that it was not actual disruption, which is what occurs in the free market, okay? What Netflix did to Blockbuster is disruption, okay? That's disruption.
Correct.
What phones did to pagers, that's disruption. When a man is unable to negotiate on his own behalf with the largest asset he'll ever own and whines to his attorney neighbor and decides to litigate his way, decides to litigate rules that will support his new startup, when they decide to wait until they find a jury who is favorable to get what he wants legally, rather than actually working within the free market and operating in the free market and letting consumers decide what disruption they want, what disruption they don't want, that is not called disruption. That is called corruption. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And so when people look at this industry now, and they're all accusing the real estate industry now, and for those of you out there, they're going to watch this, and you're going to comment, you're going to go, realtors, you should be waiting for it. I want you to remember that when you're doing that, you are on the side of these sleazy attorneys who are sitting back, making money hand over fist while you fight their fights. While you go online, you little keyboard warrior, and comment for them and fight their battle for them while they sit back and collect their dollars.
Yeah.
Because this is not disruption. Disruption happens in an open and free market. The consumers decide when disruption is necessary. That is not what this was. This was a person finding a friend who was an attorney in his neighborhood, who I'm sure they were friends, guys. Don't believe the story. I just ran into him when I was doing the lawn. Wait, you live here? Right? Whoa, look at that. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
This was obviously, they got together, they were having drinks one night, and they said, I have a dream. Let's go and I bet we can give this a shot. I bet, and what about a startup? And if we did that, they game planned this.
Well, absolutely.
And they did not wait. They did not wait for the actual consumers in a free market to decide what disruption they wanted. They litigated it with a jury who would give them what they wanted, and that is not disruption. That is the definition of corruption.
I agree.
What were you going to say?
No, you're right, because they also rallied up people, to be a part of this too. So it was absolutely what you're saying.
Oh, they sit back like, poor me. I was coerced into...
This happened to you and you and you. Oh my gosh, let's all get together.
I was coerced.
Yeah.
I was coerced. And guys, if we band together, and it's a low chance, but if we win, we will all collect $11. But he's going to make millions. I've got a startup, and I'll make millions. But guys, we should band together, because you're going to make $8 as another seller in this plaintiff. Like, it's just like, God, guys. It's mind-boggling the deeper you go with it. And so I guess my point is when I went for my run today, I always start to question myself from the other side, and I'm like, is this good? Is this fine? Is this, the first thing I thought was, we went through all of this so the guy could have a startup of a flat fee brokerage. That already exists.
Well, remember, it's not a brokerage.
Give me a break.
A black fee.
Give me a break.
Fee website.
Okay. If it quacks like a duck. If it quacks like a duck.
We apparently can't say it's a brokerage. It's clearly not. But flat fee.
Guys, I don't speak all this legalese.
They used.
I know what I see.
I understand.
Yeah, I know what I see.
Yeah.
That's not a banana.
I'm
Tastes like a
you,
banana, looks like a banana.
Someone's going to call you out and be like, Jared,
It's a
they're not a
plantain.
brokerage. We're not a brokerage. But honestly, you have
you're not?
some partially owned.
Do they not have packages? This many showings, this many this. We will then go present your offer. You're a freaking brokerage. Give me, what are you talking about?
They collect referral fees.
Yeah. Let me make you dinner tonight and charge you. I'm a restaurant. We're not a restaurant. Would you like 7 p.m. tomorrow? We're going to make reservations.
Yeah.
We're going to take your order. We're not a restaurant. Come on, guys. I don't care what they're calling themselves. This is slime ball at the highest level. And now that this came out, it's just like, you not only affected all, and look, we're going to adjust. But there's been so much unnecessary stress, heartache, people losing their jobs, companies and paying millions and millions of dollars.
Companies folding,
Companies folding.
I know.
Companies, but you got your startup. Like, this is scumbag on a level that is just, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Mm-hmm. You know, like, once you go through that suit, you should not be allowed to go compete in the arena that you just destroyed. You can't eliminate or drastically change the rules for your competitors so that you can compete better. Mm-hmm. How is that not an anti? How is that not? Like, what? You know
what's also wild is those sitting in the MLS chair, right? This is the time you protect data. And it even references in here, current content MLS data. And I'm telling you, an agent's going to be like, hey, I want to get a data feed, a Reds feed, or so-and-so feed, or they'll speak on behalf of a broker or a listing agent. They're going to start collecting data.
Yeah. Yep. No doubt.
And eventually, because they're in beta, they will become a brokerage.
But they have to.
Eventually they will. You know, Zillow always, they started off as what? A data center.
Yeah.
Listing properties.
Yeah.
Referring.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, they flipped and became a brokerage and they had agents.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're collecting the data. They're getting the agents on there. They want everyone on their side slowly.
Yep.
Right? And then they're going to switch and become a brokerage themselves.
Yeah, they're going to have a tough time getting people on their side. You know, anybody who understands all of this, I very rarely take a stance of, you know, just going against someone or avoiding them just based on personal whatever. I can usually separate very much. I would never support this person. And their whole story is just bull crap. You know, the whole thing was planned, guys. Just stop it. You know, I ran into my neighbor. We were just out there mowing our lawn, you know, doing whatever. And it's like, God, just you sleazebag.
The story sounds great, though, for those that are looking to buy a home.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
They don't know anything else.
I got tired of people. I was one of you.
Consumers
and
will
I
love
was
this.
forced to pay, you know, and it's like, all I hear is, you are so weak. You're so weak, you know, so weak. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to hire you to represent me in my next sale. You couldn't even represent yourself.
I know, that's actually very true. No, yeah. I don't actually know how the whole process even works. I don't know if I get referred, like if I was a buyer looking for a home and I went in here, I'm pretty sure it gets referred out to an agent that most likely is in their system for a certain.
I'm sure, and there'll be enough desperate agents. There'll be enough whatever that, you know. But here's what I know: when I watch a nerd get beat up at school, I don't hire them to be my bodyguard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, like, enough. Like, there's certain people that are good at different things. This person obviously has no idea and couldn't represent themselves. Now, I'm just taking them on the face value of their story, which I know is bullcrap. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm just over it. I'm over it. You have anything else to say about it? Like,
no, I think it's super interesting. It's one of those things that, you know, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. I feel like it's something that you keep your eye on and a pulse on. It's super unfortunate. I hope this beta doesn't go further than a beta. Like this is it, and it doesn't get any bigger than this. But
well, I don't.
Wild.
They're gonna have a tough time working with other agents. I'll tell you that right now. Which, look, agents have to. Mm-hmm. Agents have to do what's in the best interest of their clients and everything else. It's just this is such a selfish. You literally affected the lives of millions of people. And forget about the real estate industry for a second. The buyers who now can't afford to buy a home in a situation where a seller won't give up, will not concede, will not, you know, so you could create your startup and hope that it works. This is selfish on a level that's just.
And you know what? To that point, and then this is all I have to say, to those individuals that make those clown comments and you know, really bashing the realtor space and the real estate agent space, they won't feel it until they have to purchase a home, until they go through a transaction.
That's right.
Then they will feel it.
That's right.
They won't understand.
I'm going to be honest. I don't really care about the clown comments and that stuff. Like, we get a lot of them, but I have empathy for the fact that you are at a place in your life where you are going to somebody's video you don't know about online and commenting.
You have way too much time.
Yeah, like that's
On
why
your hands.
I have like every once in a while you'll see I'll go joke around and I'll reply with people just like for fun,
Yeah.
and then it's a one and I move on type of thing, but it's just for fun because I literally am just like,
You just like poking.
I
every
think,
now and
I
then.
think
That's
about them.
why
I think
you
about
like
them down in
poking
their
at them.
parents' basement,
Yeah.
Meatloaf, ma, meatloaf.
Oh,
Let me see what I can write here.
Oh,
Like that
gosh.
person. Like, give me a break.
Love the Wedding Crashers.
What's that? Wedding? You like that little callback to Wedding Crashers?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Meatloaf. Like that's what I picture. I picture that person. Hey everyone, I want to take a moment and talk to you about a really cool company called Privy. If you were listening to this episode or even moving forward here, you're going to notice that I'm going to talk a lot about investors and how I think this is a huge part of the market that if you're growing a real estate business, we're not paying enough attention to. I'm a big believer here that sometimes to grow your business, you don't just have to pick up a piece of the pie that's already there. Sometimes you have to go to a completely different pie. And it's so interesting because when you look at it, you look at all the data and you see that, 26, 27%, almost 30% of all residential transactions in the last 12 months were investors, right? They were investors. And when I was an agent, like a ton of the business that I did were investors. And so a lot of you hear that and you're like, oh, it's institutional investors. Institutional investors only make up about less than 3% of the overall market. And that's actually going down for the first time in years, which means that we have this huge number of people who are buying and selling properties all of the time, right under our nose, thousands of transactions. They're going to happen regardless. The only question is, are they happening with you? And that's the key thing that I want you to understand. And so when you look at Privy and what they do, they make you the go-to person to work with when it comes to finding investments, when it comes to finding out what a good deal is, when it comes to finding out what the right neighborhoods are, what the wrong neighborhoods are, what previous people had did, all at the touch of a button, right? And so all of a sudden, it's funny, I look at their stuff and I'm like, I worked with all these investors when I was selling real estate, and I'm like, how did I do this without this kind of a tool? And you don't have to do that. Now these kinds of tools are there. And so you're going to hear me in the future talking a lot about working with investors and what that looks like. And like I've said over and over again, it is my job to not only tell you what the problems are and what the solutions are, but ultimately to give you the tools that you need so that you can be the go-to source for something like that. And man, are these people worth a lot of money to you. So do yourself a favor, guys. Go to privy.pro. That's privy.pro. Amazing tool. You can ask us questions. There's more things even coming down the road with them that are just going to blow you away. But this is a tool you need in your business, especially for what it costs. It's not a cost, though. It's an investment, but it's well worth it. Let's start getting those investors. Because nobody I know that's like a upstanding citizen is, here we go, gonna go comment on some videos. It's just, we just graduated from Losers Are Us. And here's how I'm gonna get my dopamine today. It's just.
I wish I could comment on that.
But I thank you for the comment because it helps us with the algorithm.
Absolutely.
So I hope you continue to not, I hope you never have a girlfriend. And you continue to just comment on my videos. I love it. Don't get a dog. I don't want you getting distracted. I just want you on the videos, okay? You just keep on making mac and cheese, and you get back to that keyboard because you are helping on the
They're doing
algorithm.
great. They're doing
You know what I'm
great.
saying? You just keep winning, okay? you just keep on winning.
He's on a roll. Jared's on a roll. Oh, gosh.
I told you I went for a run today, and I thought about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff, and I'm just like, this is, God. We are in like a battle in our society amongst like winners and frauds. Mm-hmm. And everybody's so interested in protecting the frauds that they don't even realize it, but they start siding against actual winners. And it's just like, what are we doing here, people? Yeah. What are we doing here? What kind of society are we becoming here? Like, let's go. There's a such thing as just, you recognize people for what they are, and I think we've gotten so intertwined in our legalese and, well, no, but this means that, and whatever, that it's just, it's gotten a little too complicated. Some things are very simple. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like some things are very simple and we don't need to try everything and we don't need to, get a jury for everything. We don't need to, some things just need to, it's very simple. Get out of here. The industry doesn't need to be tried for that. You're insane. Let's go, But one man's opinion. One man's opinion. And I would say to the culture overall, this is what you get. You sat here and supported these lawsuits. They were, against injustice. They were against, all of these things. And now you found out that the main plaintiff was in it for their own good.
No way.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. But hey, millions of people affected. Many people now can't get into home ownership, many businesses out of business, many people affected. But hey, he'll get to try his startup, his flat fee brokerage, because those didn't exist. Those weren't an option already. It's called the free market. You don't litigate, you don't legislate, the free market. I don't know how to make this any clearer. That means some ideas you don't like. That's fine. It's called the free market. Some things I don't like. That's fine. Some people do things I think is nuts. But guess what? I agree with their ability to do it. It's called the free market. I don't have to agree with everything. Like Tom will tell you, like sometimes we'll be getting ready on whatever. I'll be going on a rant on something, whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God, these people, whatever. But I agree with they're allowed to. I don't have to. It's a free market. We are going into this dangerous place now where it's like we are just litigating what we like and don't like to say, well, that's wrong now. Well, that's illegal now. Well, that's wrong now. And it's like, it shouldn't be. Just because we're going through this time and this period in our culture where we're doing that. It's just, come on, free market. We have to become okay with things that we don't agree with. And the idea that this suit ever passed, and they found a jury that said that there's price fixing and colluding when you had every option in the world available to consumers. Every option. And by the way, the last 10 years before this suit even went to a jury, commissions were declining every year because the free market was at work. And there were other models involved. And it's just like everything was working. It was working. Nobody was getting screwed. Homeowners had record sales, record numbers, record number of properties being sold. It's just like, my brain, my mind just looks at this stuff and goes, what is wrong with this world? And then you let people like this win and you find out their true motive. And it's like, hello, McFly. We've been saying that the whole time. Hello, that's what we've been saying. These are not good people. So anyway, one of these days we're going to do a podcast where I don't sound angry about the industry again. Because I'm actually a very happy, fun guy, guys. If you're around me, I mean, right? Like,
no, yeah, you are.
I mean, right? Like, do I, like on a regular basis?
The reason why you're fired up is because, number one, you're passionate. You've been in this industry for so long, Yeah. Not even you yourself, your mother as well. And so you've seen a lot of change. And it's frustrating when it's right in front of you and you could see it very clearly and everyone else is just...
Or not even everyone else. It's just a small minority. But they've got the legal system. And now we litigate, and then we call it the free market. Yeah. It's like that interview that we talked about on the last podcast with Ketchmark, the main attorney, for the plaintiffs. The number of times he kept saying free market, we have to let the free market, we have to let the free market. And then he litigates the industry and says how they're standing back ready to pounce. That's not the free market. That's you thinking you are the great Oz behind the curtain, pulling the strings and doing the, whatever. And it's just infuriating. When I was a kid, my mother used to tell me all the time, because when we would argue, I've always been a good arguer, a good debater. My mom's like, you're going to make a great attorney. That's what she used to always say. I have no interest in being an attorney. I'm not an attorney, whatever. My son once said to me, my son said such a poignant thing one time, and it was so good, and I learned so much from it. It was last year, Grayson said to me, I think I've told you this before, we were talking about a specific point, and I was arguing. You know that I make a big thing about don't argue just to argue, right?
Yes.
Like for me, it's like I'm either arguing and pushing to see if you come up with something, to see if it's right, to see if it's whatever, or I believe what I'm saying, or I'll just be like, no, that makes sense. Okay, got that, whatever. So with Grayson, it's a little different. Like with your son, sometimes you lose that realm and you're just like, as the parent, you feel like you have to win. And I was arguing with him about something. Not arguing, we're debating about something. And he looked at me and he goes, you know, Dad, just because you're smarter than me and good at this doesn't mean you're right. And you know that I'm right. You know, whatever. And I was just like,
Checkmate. That's it.
I'm like, well, that's a stake to the heart if I was a vampire. You know, on one hand, I'm like, I'm very proud of you as my son to say such a thing because there's a lot of wisdom in that statement. But on the other hand, I want to get too proud right now because it's against me. So I'm like, you little jerk, you know? And I think I actually did stop and go, you know, bud, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And I literally joked with him at that point. I said, I don't want to give you credit for that but I'm like, that's a really good point. And I've always thought about that since, you know, the importance of that because it's so true. And I make that point because it's like, I think I would have been a dangerous litigator with the wrong mind if like I was after things that weren't good, because certain people's brains work a certain way. And I think my brain works in a way that I could have done damage if I was bad. You know what I mean? And could have done good things if you're good, right? But like I put that on now, like what's going on right now. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of bad people who are litigating. And all you have to do is know the rules enough. You just have to be smart. You just have to know. Think about the whole concept, guys. I'm going to change the course of history based on putting 12 people or whatever in a room. Who can manipulate them more? Who can make them feel more emotional? Who can make them, and it's like, on one hand, it's like, yeah, I love the idea of like, you know, a jury of your peers. But then sometimes I look around at my peers and I go, them? Oh, God, are you serious right now? Like, are you serious? Like, they try dog bones to see if it's good. You know, like I don't think they should be deciding the fate for the world of, you know, and sometimes it scares me. Like in this case, you had a jury that said, yes, the industry was price fixing and colluding. And then you have everybody in the industry going, we don't even like each other. What do you mean we're price fixing? You know, I'm talking the other day, I'm not going to say it publicly, although it'll get talked about at the advance. We're actually going to talk about this stuff. One of the people who was one of the main 4 people that were one of the main 4 executives in the real estate industry that were getting subpoenaed when this whole thing was going on. And the attorney's point was that these 4 major characters in the real estate industry, who in their minds run the real estate industry, were colluding behind the scenes. That they were getting together at events. This is what they proved, by the way. They didn't prove, but this is what the jury agreed with. That these people, and we know every one of them, by the way, were getting together at real estate events or at private locations and making decisions for the companies that run this industry of what they would allow and what they wouldn't allow, that they were colluding together. And this person I was talking to on the phone the other day was telling me about how they were subpoenaed and how they were getting grilled on that. And he's like, it's laughable. We're sitting there going, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like, I know so-and-so. We don't talk about, these are independent contractors that work for us. We can't tell them what to do. Like, we're not allowed to. Like, that's literally not allowed. Like, there's millions of them. If we were doing that, it would come out. Like, you know, whatever. And even though there was no evidence, nothing that said they were doing that, the jury came back because they were swayed emotionally.
It's a good story.
It's the big man. The men were all getting together and doing whatever, and they're like, it's hidden corruption.
Yeah.
And he's over here going, and I know him and I know them. And I'm like, no, they're not. They got found guilty of it. You just had to sway a jury that they were doing it, even though we know with 100% certainty wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And now the course of everything changes, and now people are like, you were found guilty. You were guilty. And it's like, no, they're not guilty. They're literally not. I know them. They're not guilty.
That's crazy.
So anyway, so when I get on here and I'm just kind of passionate and I'm kind of fired up and whatever, it's because I'm frustrated because I see things so clearly, you know? I'm frustrated by it. But I just want to make sure everybody else knows.
I'm a happy, loving guy.
Am I not? Like, we're laughing all the time. Like, literally, like, Linda just laughs all day. That's basically what she does. She just laughs all day long. Am I wrong?
You're just giving yourself some credit right
now.
now.
I mean, it's not because I'm funny. It's, you know. people get mad at you for laughing at me.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Actually, it's true. And that is a shout out to Darren.
Well, it's not just Darren, but yes.
Oh, a lot of people.
Yeah. And so, yeah, guys, we'll move on from this stuff, but every other day something else. And we got more lawsuits to cover on this podcast. But that's
on this podcast.
That is my main thing that I would like to get across. Is number one, I would like to ask them if those flat fees are negotiable.
Yeah.
Because that was the main point of the whole. Are they negotiable? Oh, they're not? Oh, so it's okay for you because you think that's an acceptable rate, but ours was not, right? Mm-hmm. How does that make sense? And then the second thing is that for everybody saying, oh, your industry doesn't want to have corruption, doesn't want to have, whatever. I mean, doesn't want to have disruption. Guys, understand the difference. This was litigated.
Yeah.
The free market did not decide this. That I'd be more than okay with that, okay? E-signing in our industry was disruption, getting used to doing that. Like that was the free market saying, let's do that, okay? Mm-hmm. This is corruption. There's a difference. And if you know me, I love disruption. Guys, I have been preaching disruption for years, I
mean, we're in the tech industry.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
That's what happens. Yeah.
And that's why I had to be willing to ask myself on the run today, like, am I not seeing it? Is this a blind spot? Is this, so
yeah.
What else do we have? By the way, we're going to see my son here in a second because my other son is about to walk in.
I mean, on your social page, maybe this week, last week, not too sure, you had a really nice screenshot of the CRMLS fines, correct?
Oh.
And fees.
Yes.
Citation policy.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was an MLS exec, our citation policy, honest to God, and I have it still. I have the folder. Could all fit, babe, I'm not even joking, could all fit on half a page, one page.
Yeah.
Our citation policy was so clean.
Yeah.
And I used to actually say this in orientation. There's a lot of white here.
Yeah.
Because we're not in the business.
Wait a second. You would look at the people in orientation and say there's a lot of white here?
No.
I mean, canceled.
You're so bad.
Tom.
You're so
Tom,
bad.
do you get that?
There's
Did
a
you
lot
get
of
that?
white spaces,
Did you get that?
empty spaces on the
Everybody,
piece of
I just want to be
paper.
clear, canceled.
Yeah, no.
You hate me.
I'm Middle Eastern, so I can say whatever I want, okay? If I'm of color, I can say whatever I want. I'm just telling you.
Well, based on our last podcast, because we
Yeah,
criticized
yeah.
the NAR CEO, I got plenty of private messages that I'm a racist.
You are very.
And I'm just like, guys, can you stop seeing
was
everything
that?
through that lens? Like, I just got done criticizing Josh Sitzer. Thank God he's a white male.
Oh my gosh, could you
because if
imagine
he
if he
wasn't,
wasn't?
everyone would be telling me it was because he wasn't. Guys, I criticize based on merit. That's
so
it.
funny.
And to be clear, my only criticism of the NAR CEO was that in her one chance to bring together the industry and her members, she instead went and chastised them. But my point was, you didn't come from the industry. I root for you, but I think
Yeah.
some people were wondering
Why you?
why we didn't get someone who was
Yeah.
from the industry. So anyway, it's just funny to hear you make that
No,
blatantly
I
racist
was-
comment
I
you
was
just did
just
about the
saying,
members
though,
of your orientation.
There's orientations that agents, at least in California or Fresno, have to actually be a part of and sit there a whole day orientation in order for them to move forward and have membership of the association. But anyways, I would go over all the MLS rules, not all, really like high level MLS rules and citation policy. And that page was a half a page.
Half a page.
And it was so easy to read.
Yeah.
And then it went to all of a sudden mandated by NAR, 3 tiers, and I'm like, 3 tiers.
Here
And it
comes
was
more
and it
rules.
was a
Here comes
mandate.
more rules. Yeah.
There was no option. You had to do it in the based on tiers. And then, anyway, so you posted something a few days back about CRMLS and all these fees and rules. Was it specifically around open houses?
No,
What
no,
was it?
it was overall. So just to be clear, I wasn't picking on CRMLS. Like, it just happened to be the one that I saw.
Correct,
But
yeah.
this is MLSs everywhere.
Yes.
Like, we are becoming an industry that is more worried about doing wrong than we are focused on doing right.
Correct.
And that, for me, again, is a cultural issue because when everything you're doing is you're just looking out for landmines and try not to get fined, and there's no grace. Most of these places, it is no grace, you are fined. And it's like you pull the rug out from people within this industry, and you change all the rules, and everyone's not even clear on what the rules are, and then if they misstep and break one of the rules, in many cases there's not even a warning. It's just you're fined, and it's like, wait a second now, like I didn't know, like I'm literally just trying to do right by my clients. And I'm going to talk about this a lot at the Advance because we talk about transactional versus relational, and everything in our industry right now is pushing towards transactional.
Absolutely.
Which is going to give agents an advantage for those that still find a way to follow the rules but remain relational. They don't allow it to harden them, harden their hearts, harden the way they do business. That's going to come out. It's going to be more difficult, but it means that it's even easier to separate yourself from other people. And one more thing I want to say about that is a lot of people have been sending me questions and going, but Jared, if we're not NAR members, we don't have to follow these rules. And I almost sound like a politician, but I always reply and go, when I see it, and I go, yes and no. You are correct. There are rules you have to follow when you're an NAR member, and there's rules you don't have to follow. The problem is, even if you are a non-NAR member, many MLSs and boards and other places are putting in rules to coincide with the settlement. So whether you're an NAR member or not, you've got to follow those local rules. And so they're all kind of, even if you're not a member, they're changing the rules overall. And the bigger issue, back to what you were saying originally, is just these number of fines, these numbers of rules, these numbers of...
It's insane.
It goes back, again, welcome to 2024. Everything has a rule. Everything has a regulation. Everything has a, it's just like, come on.
When that citation policy changed at the association that I was running, I myself, and I hope that the members in Fresno that are watching this or listening to this, and when I sat there could say yes, or
it's like
agree with
Say
me,
yes.
right? Yes, agree with me. This might sound bad. I don't sit there anymore. Doesn't matter. Even if they were even if they were in violation, of a rule that had no warning.
Yeah.
I always, as an MLS exec, I make the calls. Yeah, the rules are there. Ultimately, it's on me. I investigate a little bit. I call them. I talk.
Yeah. I
try to understand why they felt that this was right or why they did that.
Yeah.
Before I slapped a fine and sent it to them.
Yeah.
I would try to understand it first. I would talk to my executive, EA at the time. If I had to, I would bring it to the board of directors. But typically, it was resolved between either myself, either I did it, or me and my exec would do it, my EA, my boss. And we would decide then or there, okay, maybe a warning, and then next time, automatic fine.
You were trying to fix the issue, not just collect the money.
Not even that. I wanted to educate them.
That's my point. You were trying to fix the issue.
I want to understand why. Is the rule not clear enough?
Yeah.
Is the citation policy not clear enough?
Yeah.
Are you seasoned or are you not seasoned? Are all of this stuff?
Yeah.
I made it very clear that we were not in the citation business.
Yeah.
And
That's a great point.
And I worked for the members.
Yeah.
Right. And so there was a lady that actually commented on your video, and I don't think she minds me saying her name, Laura Corey. I know everything about Laura Corey. It's because I made sure to know I made sure that I took time to invest into my members, and understand them.
Yeah.
I've never given her a citation ever, and she never has. And she even says, "I've always followed the rules." She is a rule follower.
Yeah.
And a lot of agents try to be rule followers.
Yeah.
They try.
Just so
but
unclear
there's so
right
many
now.
darn rules.
Yeah.
And there's no easy way.
And some don't make sense.
Correct. And I remember agents would call me, Linda, I want to do this. Is this a violation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a violation, but instead of doing that, how about we do this?
Yeah.
And I would give them solutions. These days, I tell you, there's MLSs out there, and there was a neighboring association near us that their MLS had, and I put it in your actual post. They would have systems in place that would just look for violations while we were sleeping.
Yeah.
They would just look, and it was automatically sent out.
Yeah.
They would make hundreds of thousands.
So here's a bigger issue, because it's a great point. Hey everyone, if you are not signed up for the Jared James Advance, Orlando, Florida, September 19th and 20th, this is your opportunity to do just that, guys. We have released our agenda, and we've got a lot to talk about. I mean, my God, it's almost overwhelming when I look at it, but we're going to do the normal things, right? We're going to talk about how to get listings. We're going to talk about how to take a transaction and multiply it into many others. We're going to talk about very timely things right now, how to eliminate that friction with buyers, and what are we saying, and what are the most common objection handlers right now. We're going to talk about what is the open house of the future future look like? Because that's a real opportunity. And so how do we take advantage of that? We're going to talk about AI, but in a practical sense, not just to overwhelm you and go, look, the world's changing, robots are taking over, in a practical sense. We're going to talk about team building. We're going to talk about hiring assistants and scaling and all of these kinds of things. And if you're a broker, we'll talk about mergers and acquisitions, culture, retention, all of these things, guys. So I recommend go to jaredjamestoday.com/advance. Check out the agenda that's there. There might even be more things that are added. In fact, I just got a text message that someone else is going to join us that is not on that agenda just yet. So you're going to see that as well. But this is where you want to be, guys. We know there's a lot of changes happening, and this is where you come to be the pro. This is where you come to make sure that regardless of the changes that happen, you are the agent that is standing at the end because you were prepared. When the rules change, they change for everyone. And so what you do moving forward matters, and this is where the best come to get better. So jaredjamestoday.com/advance. And as always, this is our 10-year celebration. So if you don't have tickets yet to the 10-year celebration party on Friday night, the event is the 19th and 20th, but the actual after party, that ticket is separate. That's Friday night, the 20th. We've got a band coming in. We are going to have an absolute blast. Come and celebrate with us. So stay through to Saturday, guys. I cannot wait. Get yourself, your team, your brokerage, your colleagues. Get there, guys. I promise you, you will not regret it. I'm ready, guys. I got pages and pages of notes of stuff I have not released that I am just like, I cannot wait to be delivering there. So will I see you in Orlando? I hope so. See you there. These MLSs are about to have a huge PR issue when it comes to their members, okay? So there's a much bigger issue here with all of these fines and no warnings and no grace, and that is that these MLSs are going to have a PR issue. And here's what I mean. There are many towns, and you've heard of this, where when they're low on their budget, they just start giving out speeding tickets because you can find it anywhere. You ask any police officer, sit on the right corner, you can write as many tickets as you want. Is that true or not true?
Cameras.
You can, right? Like, just go sit on the right corner and you know exactly where it is and just ticket. There is a growing belief now within the agent community that after a place like NAR gives out fines for $418 million, which owns a lot of these MLSs, and says we're not going to raise dues for the next 2 years. And people are like, well, then how are you paying the $418 million? And then all these no-grace fines start coming out. And everyone's just getting hit with fines. And true or not true, when you look at perception, many of these agents are now looking at it and they're going, oh, so that's how we're paying for the settlement? Is you're just going to start imposing a sit-on-the-corner speeding ticket within our MLS where you know you can get them all day long because you put some rule in that shouldn't even be a rule. You know that everybody's going to break because they don't even know it's a rule. And this is how we're going to do it now, is that we're going to start acting like that. Mm-hmm. And so there's a real, in my mind, danger right now that for all these places that are trying to prove value and trying to say what their value is, if that's the route you're going to go, you're going to have a much bigger PR issue than you have right now amongst your membership, where they're going, oh, that's how you're making it up. I'd almost rather you're just honest with me and tell me, hey, we're raising your dues this much because this came up. At least now I'm ticked for a second, but I understand. It's like when we went to Ruth's Chris the other day and we're sitting at the happy hour. And I'm at Ruth's Chris, okay? Like, this is not a cheap place. And you and I ordered Tito's Bloody Mary. Mm-hmm. And we're very specific Tito's, right? The bill comes at the end, and for every Tito's, they added $3, as if that wasn't just a normal vodka. And I'm like, where are we at? Denny's? Like, you're charging me extra for Tito's at Ruth's Chris? Mm-hmm. Bad look. Yeah. I would rather you overcharge me for the drink and have it included than for me to see that you added on for Tito's. Yeah. I didn't order a $2,000 bottle of tequila. I didn't order I ordered Tito's. Mm-hmm. What am I at, a convention where I have different types of tickets? Yeah. You know, for what kind of premium or deluxe drink I can get, you know, whatever. And the look was even worse, the fact that it was added on after. Yeah. And so in the same way, the look is bad if that's the route we're going to start to go, and we're just going to start over fining and over.
But you know what? They have to be careful. The MLS has to be careful because unless they come up with a rule, right? But it just takes one large broker that says, hey, I really don't need the MLS. How do you support me?
That's my point,
Right?
is at a time
And
when
then
they're
what
trying to create
happens,
value.
The broker will pull, and they could literally, if they had the market share for that area,
Yeah.
they could do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They don't need the MLS to distribute data. You already signed with Zillow. You already signed with this.
What
They don't
happens
need
when
that.
one of these what happens in a place where Howard Hanna is huge? What happens in a place with a major RE/MAX office? What happens in our area where a ton of people go to the William Ravis website over the other ones? What happens when they go,
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
like you said earlier, you work for me. I don't know when you started making me work for you. I think we're going to bring balance to the force here.
Yeah.
You know, a little Star Wars
Absolutely.
for you, Tom.
There you go.
I think we're going to bring a little balance to the force here. A good day, right? Like, what happens when that happens? And that's my point. As I said, they better watch what they're doing here, because you tick people off enough, they'll do irrational things.
I know.
You know, and in some cases rational. But you tick people off enough, they will do. I'm not going to get into it, but someone ticked you off the other day, and you were ready for every irrational response. Now, we're not going to go into that, but I'm there going, babe, no, nope, not doing that.
How about this?
Not doing that. You know, not going to happen. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
But you tick people off, and they will, despite you, do the most irrational, doesn't make sense, just to screw you. Like, you know, and these MLSs better look out.
I used to always say to my staff at the MLS, when it was so busy, I would say, hey, that's job security.
Yeah.
Because we work for
That's
them.
right.
It's job security.
That's right.
So you don't complain about it, you know. But the day that you don't get that,
Yeah.
you better worry.
Yeah.
And it does take one or two brokers, very large brokerages, to be like, hey, you're fining me left and right. And honestly, too, because the brokers are also obligated and required to educate their agents,
Yeah.
the MLSs could easily find brokers
Yeah.
directly too.
Yeah.
The whole system now is just getting so broken. It's super
It's becoming
frustrating.
transactional. Like, that's what
It's
I think.
very
It's becoming
frustrating.
transactional.
I'm very much educate, warning once, warning twice,
Yeah.
maybe a third, you know. But yeah, it's very frustrating to see that.
Fool me
on
once,
an
shame on
MLS
you.
side.
Fool me again, shame on me. Like, it's like that kind of, there's got to be some kind of a, you know, and like I said, it's becoming transactional. Like, I'm getting messages from top agents. I mean, top. I'm not going to name who, top, saying they're leaving the industry. They're like, that's not what I got in for. This is getting way too, you know, whatever. And so we need to watch this. Now, at the same time, there's been other things that have happened. Another big thing that happened recently in this same vein, the DOJ, they seem to be a weekly topic on this podcast. God, the Department of Justice, this Justice League over there, sued a company called RealPage out of Texas.
Okay.
And RealPage is a software company out of Texas that basically uses an algorithm to determine rents across the country. And it determines when rents should go up, when rents should go down, when rents, you know, whatever. The DOJ is suing them for the word of the day, antitrust. And they're suing them based on their algorithm because they keep recommending to landlords that the rents go up, which, again, nobody wants the rents to go up, but it's called the free market. The rents went up because of demand. That's what the algorithm dictated. So now they're getting sued by the DOJ. And it's just like, are we really becoming a world where if anyone makes money, it's not okay and we sue them? By the way, in a down market, there are two types of market, guys. They go up and they go down. In a down market, you know what that same algorithm's going to say? Go down. Rents go down now. Like, that's what happens. That's called a free market. And we now have the DOJ going after RealSource for their algorithm.
And it's just it's not even a recommendation. It's just, hey, this area, this market.
It's just telling
That's what we're
people,
saying.
this is what the algorithm says. Your rent should be this. And it gives them suggestions. Your rent should be that. This one should be this. It's called modern day technology. It's called the free market. And again, in a down market, it will go down. Like, that's how it
So
works.
how is it any different than, okay, let's switch this a little bit, and I need some education here.
Yep.
Zillow with their estimates. Goes up and down. Their recommendations based on the market. Is it any different?
I was going to say that because it actually affects pricing because they put it out there. But I guess some sellers do actually look at that and it affects how they price. So it's potentially, a very similar thing. The bottom line is you bring up that point, which is a great point. And the reason why it's a great point is because it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. Here's how we know it's ridiculous. This is end all, be all, checkmate. Mm-hmm. If the algorithm was somehow deceitful and wrong, and guess what? There'd be no renter. It's the free market. So when a landlord looks at that number and goes, this is what I should be getting for my 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this neighborhood, whatever it is, and they put it out, and the tenant or the potential tenant looks at it and goes, I will do it, or everyone goes, I will not do it. Free market. So if they are following that algorithm and it's renting every time, how, DOJ, are you suing them?
Yeah.
It's the free market. How?
I don't know.
Clock it up to just more that it just doesn't make sense to me. It's not like they have people by the cojones and people don't have choice and they're forcing them to do things and it is illegal and it is corrupt and it is wrong. That's what you're doing, by the way. That's what that litigation is. It's making suggestions and the free market is responding. And the DOJ, a government entity, is getting involved with private business and suing them and stopping them. What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
When was that? When did this happen?
Last week. I just, guys, I don't understand how we think that's okay. I don't care who the administration is. I don't care. It's not okay. I don't care if it's under whoever the next administration is. If the DOJ starts doing that, you're going to hear me on here ranting.
Yeah.
That's not a free
on a
market.
roll,
Litigating and controlling what happens and then calling it a free market is a Gestapo. That's what communist governments do. And then they tell you how free you are while they hand you everything. The market decides the market. That's what the free market is. And there is just a lot of that not happening right now. Now, on another note, just came out yesterday.
Is it positive?
I think a lot of people will be happy to hear this.
Okay, good. So something happy.
So you know how the DOJ ruled in their own case when NAR appealed to the DOJ overturning what they agreed to with NAR, and then the DOJ when NAR appealed the DOJ reneging on their deal, the DOJ ruled in their own case and said, no, we can do that. And you remember I ranted about that. I'm like, what? So NAR has gone over their heads and they're going to the Supreme Court. Oh, wow. They're going over the heads of the DOJ and they're going to the Supreme Court. So this is a case where I'm going, NAR,
let's go. Good
job.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do because there needs to be precedent set. So I was worried they were going to fold back off and be like, we have so many other things going on, like our own agents suing us, but they have now made the decision to take the fight to the highest court, the Supreme Court. Now we need to wait and see if the Supreme Court will hear the case. I would think they would because it's so high profile. It's the country's largest lobbyist group and the Department of Justice. If they don't take that case, it's corruption at the highest level. It is people in backdoor rooms going, do not take that case, do not. And I hope to God NAR gets a case with the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court overrules the DOJ to put them in their freaking place. Because someone has to do it. When the Department of Justice continually keeps overstepping, the only one that can overstep them is the Supreme Court. So let's, from my lips to God, please put them in their place. So we shall see what happens with that. And then last but not least, while we're on these whole lawsuit things, 8 realtors are suing Move, parent company of Realtor.com.
Ooh, for what? And
NAR, by the way. They threw NAR in there. For selling them fake low-quality leads. Okay. Got some thoughts on this. First off, how'd you throw NAR in there? NAR has not been affiliated with Realtor.com for years.
Correct. Yeah.
That is literally just these people trying to get the press and putting in Realtor. And a judge should, doesn't mean they will, but a judge should look at NAR being a part of that case and throw it out immediately and be like, they're not even a part of this.
Maybe it's just based off ignorance. They assume that NAR. I mean, they've sold that years ago. Years and years ago.
What is your initial response when I tell you that somebody is suing a leads company because the leads are fake or low quality? What's your initial response? I'm going to tell you mine in a second. What's yours?
Well, you obviously opted in and you signed up for leads. They're not guaranteed good quality leads.
Right.
We all know this. That if I am I don't know what kind of leads they were. Were they buyer leads or what does it really matter?
Well, if it's on that site, it's probably buyer leads.
Okay. If I'm looking for, if I'm just browsing.
Yeah.
And I want to see, and a pop-up comes up to register, I'm going to register. I'm going to browse through.
Yep.
And go through. It doesn't mean I'm ready to buy today.
Right.
I could be ready to buy 6 months, a year from now.
Yep.
But I'm definitely interested because I'm on the website. That's
You're filling it out? Why is it called a lead? It's called a lead because it could lead to a transaction.
Totally.
It's not called a transaction. They're not selling you transactions. They're selling you leads. So a lot of you aren't going to like this, but my response when I saw this is wah, wah, wah. Give me a break. Low quality? Duh. It's an internet lead. Like, you didn't buy referrals. You bought internet leads, which are a numbers game, which means they're talking to 15 different realtors, which means you may or may not. Statistically, you're probably terrible at converting these. If you're in real estate, most are not good at converting internet leads. You probably weren't great at converting them, which makes them even lower quality leads for you. So to hear that someone's suing because they got low quality leads from Realtor.com, wow, wow, wow. You knew what you're doing. The internet game is a volume game, you know? I always say, don't buy internet leads unless you have an actual system set up, unless you have a database set up, unless you have a follow-up system set up, unless you have an ISA set up, unless you have a, whatever. If you just start buying them and just bringing them in, you're not ready yet? Why aren't they responding? They're not even responding to me. They're not real. They're not, whatever. Come on, guys. It's internet leads. I mean, please. An internet lead fills out a form and 3 minutes later doesn't even remember they filled out the form.
That's true.
You could literally call.
There you go.
You call them and they're like, hey, it's Jared from so-and-so Realty, you whatever. You're like, what? What are you calling for? What? They just filled the form out 200 seconds ago. They don't even think about it after. So when I heard this, I just heard,
And quite honestly,
in my JT,
this might
cry me a
sound
river.
really bad, but if I just want to get bypast the algorithm and that bot, constantly bouncing on my page to register as a buyer, I will put a fake number in.
Yeah.
Just so I can
100%.
bypass.
You know how many fake emails I put in?
Okay. And I'm sure those 8 agents, realtors, have done the same thing.
Oh.
On several other platforms.
I feel bad for whoever's
As leads.
Jared@gmail.com.
For real.
Oh, yeah. I do Linda@gmail all the time.
Come on.
All the time.
That is, you would think that's the email that you want, but you don't, because every Jared in the world is typing in. And here's the thing, like, when you start to, because what they're suing for is they want their money back plus any damages. So guys, you know what this is. Somebody, like many, paid for internet leads, did not have a system in place or give it enough time for them to pay off or for them to work. They contacted Realtor.com. Realtor.com said, we do not offer refunds. We can offer to try to get you a different area. We can offer to whatever. These people got pissed off and said, I'm going to sue. They probably had an attorney in the family or something, probably mowing their lawn and ran into a neighbor and said, well, that's it. Because their ego is so big, they couldn't be told that they were going to, that they weren't good at closing leads. And they probably just went and said, we're going to sue. I can just about guarantee you that's 1,000% what happened. So while I'm all for, taking care of injustices and everything else, at the same time, I'm also like, this just doesn't add up
Just
to me.
so you know, they also sued OpCity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is another, yeah.
I mean, they're just, and it lists
Oh, wait.
all the
So
agents
Realtor.com,
on there.
OpCity, but I mean, it's just like, come on,
I know.
guys. You just need to get better at closing leads.
Yeah, or just get out
and
of
you
the
need to have
business.
proper, and you need to have proper
Obviously.
expectation, as far as like, they're called leads because they can lead to a transaction. You're not buying referrals. You're not buying come list me. You're not buying, we all know that's part of the game. Again, that is a common sense world. And unfortunately, in days past, I would have said this will get thrown out. Nowadays, wah seems to go really well in the courts. So I'm not sure.
I think we should get into the business of
Suing people?
Suing people.
What will we go for?
I don't know. I'll find something, I'm sure.
You know, Tom had a little bit of a little something in the way he said hi earlier, and I think it was because you're Middle Eastern. And
You know what? I could probably get away with a lot of
personally, I feel like we should.
hate me. If you want to hate me and talk
You
bad
hate her?
about me.
Do you hate her?
Did
he not say? Do you see how long it took him to answer?
do some
Did you see how
clown
long it took him to
comments?
answer? He hates you.
I will go after
He hates your
you.
guts.
I'm Middle Eastern. I'm a
He
woman.
hates your guts.
I will go
I was
after
wondering
you.
if this
Okay.
is a rhetorical question or not.
Okay? It's clear.
No.
It's clear. Yeah,
Clear.
it is
Yes.
clear. Okay?
Yeah.
We asked him. Did he answer right away?
No, it took
Someone who knows would have answered.
He was hesitating.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, guys, our point is that it's insane, but it might actually still work. Like,
In
they
all
might
seriousness,
actually win.
Please don't sue me. Thank
You know?
I mean, they might win because they just want to settle.
I was about to say, or move or
It's
one.
just
They might have
settle.
done it just on the fact of like they might
Congratulations.
settle.
You want
yeah.
your money back? We'll pay your attorney fees.
And not for nothing, that if I was moved at that point, probably before it went to a legal whatever, I probably would have just been like here, because they're going to spend more in legal. But then it's like negotiating with terrorists. Like once you set the precedent that all you have to do is threaten a lawsuit and we'll get our money back, they have a lot of contracts with a lot of people who want their money back. So it is maybe it's not just the one time they're thinking about. They're going, no, we will fight you. That's our policy. So maybe I just revert a
I
course.
wonder. I mean,
they shouldn't settle. Yeah.
So Move and News Corp is huge. I wonder if they would actually, really fight, put some money behind it and fight.
I think they might, because when you look at the number of contracts they have, that's why I was just thinking when I'm thinking out loud, it's not the one contract.
Oh.
That's why I used the example of negotiating with terrorists, which is a terrible example. But the U.S.'s stance has always been we don't negotiate with terrorists, not because of that one time, but once terrorists know that you'll negotiate, they're just going to keep taking people. Because they're like, oh, we want more. Oh, give us another person. Oh, they're just going to keep stealing people. But if they know, no, we'll sacrifice them. Sorry, we're not negotiating. In the same way, if you know that someone, if they're going to bring a lawsuit to get their money back, and that person knows think about the number of contracts they have, the number of unhappy customers they have, because we're talking about internet leads. If every single one of them knows, all you have to do is say, well, I'm going to file a lawsuit, and now you get your money back, that costs you a lot more than taking care of one case. So you almost have to set the precedent on one time and go, no, we will fight. You're going to waste your money, because we will fight. Our guidelines are clear. We have plenty of examples of customers just like you that are closing deals that will testify on our behalf, that understand it's a numbers game, that it's a low percentage closing game. Like, to me, that's an unlosable fight. But who knows? It's 2024. And there was a man who was forced to pay 3% and change the whole industry, and now has a startup to compete with that industry.
Yeah.
So who knows?
What's really interesting is and I won't talk too much about this because we'll close soon. But
Tom's got a fantasy draft.
they mentioned List Hub. Do you know what what List Hub is? List Hub they work with MLSs in providing traffic and marketing to your website. So really, what's funny is they're just a platform to market and get it out there. So they're not really giving out leads.
Yeah.
They're trying to drive leads to you.
Yeah.
And so it's funny how they're suing a platform like that
Yeah.
really is your marketing strategy is probably just sucks. Your website just sucks. It's not attracting.
Babe, this is
leads.
a pray and spray.
None of it makes sense. But yeah, so I'm really hoping that they put money behind it and
Yeah.
like you mentioned,
Yeah.
kind of fight, because it's not just 8 of these agents.
Yeah, and by the way,
It's
I don't have any
hundreds and
affiliation.
thousands and
I don't have any
thousands and
affiliation with
thousands.
Realtor.com or anything else. I just call it as I see
No,
it.
yeah.
And here's another example. I'm telling you from an NAR perspective, not their fault. They should be out of this, whatever. We say this every single thing. Like, I'm not anti-pro, whatever. Like, I just call on things like I see them. And in this particular case, I think this is just some whiny agents that weren't good at closing leads, didn't get their money back. Their ego was hurt when they didn't get it back, and it just kind of is
Look
what
at
it
this
is.
ad.
Oh, we got a
That's
Mosaik
cool.
ad going?
Oh my gosh, that's pretty cool.
Mosaik.io.
Mosaic.
I had a call, by the way. I talked to the founder of Mosaik a couple days ago.
I mean, does your audience know who Mosaic is?
Well, they're going to hear a lot about them now, because I'm probably going to start promoting them a lot, because I think they're a great tool. I think they're actually talking at our Advance the next era of real estate tech.
Yeah.
Because it's enough of these. We got another new CRM. We got another new, whatever. She has built a platform that is literally, she said, we're not for your leads, we're for your clients. And I was like, that's so true. And we talked about how, all of these things with Zillow and all of these things with having to explain to people and get new clients.
She is Sheila.
Yes.
Okay.
And like none of that matters if you just understand lifetime value and you understand the right side of the transaction and you understand and so her platform, Mosaik, Mosaik,
I was literally
.io, mosaik.io, mosaic.io is built for clients, like people you're actually working with, and then retaining lifetime value with those people over and over and over, and giving them that experience and bringing them into collaborating in the way that Loop was in the past, where it was just signatures and such, but now collaborating on the actual transaction. Meaning you can bring your clients into the transaction, everything that's going on. They know what's happening. You can bring in vendors. You can bring in, all these different people. You can bring in your core 100 like we teach, vendors and otherwise. You can track them and see how many deals they're getting, and you can charge, and you can, all these other things that are going on. And it's the next era of real estate tech, as far as it may be the next unicorn in our industry as far as what blows up. And so we were talking anyway, and just about some strategy moving forward, and limiting in some markets, and only allowing. She's like, I only want the really good ones to be using our tool. I want it to be an advantage, So anyway, it's funny that would show up on yours, because I was telling you about our conversation, and now it shows up in front of you. So Big Brother's watching. Yeah. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about an amazing real estate tool right now called Mosaik. If you want to take your people off of the portals where they're all hanging out and whatever, and into your ecosystem, this is the tool that does that. This is a beginning to end, not a CR, it's not another CRM, it doesn't replace that, but it's a beginning to end system that really looks at the lifetime value of your client and looks at every part of that process and takes care of all of it in a way that's completely transparent. So yes, they've got search, they've got transaction coordination, they've got, even for us, when we do things like we teach our students the core 100, they've got the ability to put those people in there, track what's happening, do all of that in an amazing way. But probably the thing that I love about this more than anything is the transparency. In an industry that keeps talking about transparency, and usually when you hear something over and over again, it means that it's not being done at all. This is actually a transparent tool. This is the first tool that I've seen that actually brings the consumer into the transaction. And I think that is the next level of where we are going within this industry. You hear from so many buyers and sellers that, oh, my agent didn't do anything, or I feel like they're not, and there's not this communication going on. This is the first tool I've seen, almost like the early days of Loop, where you had that collaboration, but it was just for the document and the signature. They can do that with the transaction now, not only with the clients, but with the vendors, whoever it is, in an amazing way, where they can see every step of what's going on. You can write notes to them back and forth. They can see every part of the paperwork and everything, and the way that you decide to show it. It's really the next level of what we need to be doing from a consumer experience perspective, so they know what's happening, and more importantly, we drive that lifetime value back to you. So if you haven't yet, guys, this is a tool you're going to hear over and over again. You're going to hear me talk about it, because I really think it's my role to not just define what the problems or solutions are, but provide the tools that will actually get you there. And while so many tools right now are just check the box and just say you have them, this is one yourself, your team, your brokerage. If you're not on it yet, you need to be. This is not the last you're going to hear about this. They're going to grow astronomically, and this is something you need to get on board with if you're going to operate. If you're going to be one of those people that really overcomes and is that top producer in your area, you've got to have the right tools in place, and Mosaik is one of those right now. So do yourself a favor. Go check out mosaik.io, mosaik.io. Again, mosaik.io. You won't regret it, guys. Send us questions if you do, but this is one of those ones that you're going to look back on and remember, amazing tool. So anyway, do we have anything else to discuss, guys? I am going to go back to being happy and making people laugh as soon as we're done with the podcast. I'm going to go back to prepping for the advance. I do want to say with the advance, guys, we got a packed house. Mm-hmm. We got Tom's over there. We got a packed house. And you might see me come out with a reel in the coming days, because, and it's going to be genuine. We are in an age right now where people are canceling their events. If they're holding their events, it's embarrassingly low numbers. Mm-hmm. And we're about to have the largest audience we've ever had.
Yeah. I know.
And I'm so freaking ready. My writer's block has gone away. And I'm like a caged animal now. I'm like, let's go get it. And for those of you that are watching that are already signed up to come September 19th and 20th in Orlando, If you don't have your tickets to the party on Friday night, that is going to be my let loose night.
It's going to be a fun night.
That's going to be my let loose night.
I've been having a lot
You've been
of
helping
fun
plan
planning
it.
it. Yeah.
And so that's going to be my let loose night where it's all done. And now we can just have a good time, guys, and we can celebrate 10 years. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a blast. For those of you that are signed up and have your tickets, but maybe haven't upgraded to VIP, get on that. For those of you who haven't signed up yet, we'll still make room for you. We'll change up the seating.
I guess.
September 19th and
I
20th,
guess.
jaredjamestoday.com/advance. But guys, if you're going to come to one conference this year, you want to prep for the future, this is the one. If you want to see the side of me on a regular basis that isn't just angry talking about these lawsuits and really get into strategy and get into what we need to be doing, it's time. If you want to be there when we announce some stuff we're doing going forward, Orlando, September 19th and 20th.
The agenda's out, right? They can see the agenda.
Keeps changing every day.
Oh,
but
really?
Yes. Yeah.
Speaker lineup is great. So.
I finally came up with some titles too.
Oh God.
So my opening session is called Back to the Future, but
I'm
my
like,
closing session, day one, I have said for years when I go to audiences all around the country, all around the world, I say, if I came to your area, I would dominate you. I've said that at conferences all over the place.
Does someone challenge you?
My closing session on day one is called Visibility Trumps Ability, How I Would Dominate in Your Market. And I'm going to lay out for you exactly what I mean. I'm so looking
So
forward
there's
to
going
that.
to be 1,000 little Jareds all over the place.
Wait, is that your impression?
Doing good.
I'm not an Oompa
doing
Loompa.
your stuff.
What was that? What the heck was that? I'm a grown man.
I could deal with one, please.
I'm not. Hold on. I am not. Okay, I'm not that.
Oh, gosh.
What the crap? What was that? Do you mean like?
For only
do you mean like that?
$1.99
Like
a
that
month.
sound? Is that the sound you were looking for? Something deep? Okay.
Anyways,
Gee.
it's going to be great. You know, I would love to hear it.
You want to hear a bunch of squealing, a bunch of squeaking, based on what you? Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
What we
grab
haven't
your
told
tickets,
anybody,
everybody.
Jared's going to suck on some helium right before that last closing statement.
That'd be
closing,
great.
segment.
Oh,
That's
Well,
what
it is
happens.
Orlando.
Yeah.
oh gosh.
You can just put on the
I'd be
Mickey
like
Mouse. There
Mickey.
you go.
I'd be like Mickey.
So we
up
have
in
tickets
movies.
to Advance still. We have tickets. We have VIP tickets still. We have tickets for the party still.
The party you got to get to.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun. Go get down.
yeah.
We got a great band coming in
It's a live band, which
that
is
you and
wonderful.
I listened to when we were at City Walk downtown Universal.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
It was a great
That
time.
night was a blast.
We
Am
did
I
have a
right?
great
Come on.
time.
We had a
It
good
was
time.
good.
We had a good time.
Come on. And then yeah, it'll be a great time.
It will be.
Did you just release an arm?
You did it.
What are you trying to bring
I
sexy
get
back
so
over here?
cold
What are you
here.
trying to do right now, guys?
Okay.
Avert
Let's
your
wrap
eyes.
it up, please.
Avert your
Awkward.
eyes. That is my wife.
Um,
Good Lord.
He makes me cover up
My God.
because I'm Middle Eastern. He makes me cover up.
It's not covered enough. Letting you show the face. Are you kidding me?
I'm kidding. I'm sorry if I offended
I'm a modern man.
I'm sorry.
He makes me cover up.
Anyways,
Could you imagine? I do yell mahakalem at you.
could you stop?
I don't even know what it means, but
I don't know.
Hakalem.
If we offended anyone, we are so sorry. I am so sorry. Him? I don't know. It's questionable.
we just have a good time. If anybody gets offended by us, like, you just need to get around us. Like, we just have a good time. We're fun people. Like, we make fun of everyone, including ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
We
what?
just
For
have a
all of
good
you who
time.
stand out there and just find all the things you're offended by, you should just come live a day in our life and actually enjoy your life. Like, it's not worth it. Okay, let me just do a little PSA to any of you out there right now. Hello, everybody. No, that
Ooh.
voice isn't going to work.
I'm like, ooh.
It's not worth it, guys. Okay, there's plenty to be offended about, but there's plenty to be happy about. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay? Most people in this world are not bad people. Most people do not dislike you. Most people, whatever. Like, most people are good people. And most people, when they tell a joke, guess what they're doing? They're just trying to make you laugh. Okay? What makes jokes funny is that they're offensive. If it's not offensive, it's not funny. Okay? But what makes that joke okay is that it's good people around
Well,
and
it's
we
like
don't care. It's
walking
just
to
funny.
a comedy show and not liking the person on stage.
Yeah.
It's like, well, don't walk into the show.
Yeah, it's like that's a comedy show.
Just leave. if
They
you're
are there
offended.
to offend you. Oh my God, we went and saw when we were in Vegas. We went and saw Brad Garrett,
Yeah.
the big ogre from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Is he hilarious?
oh,
Really?
he's nothing like the brother from
Oh, really?
Everybody Loves Raymond. Okay. And I knew he was funny because, guys, I'm a comedic, like, I love comedians. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he spent an hour just going after the audience. And then he did some set jokes, but he did about an hour of just going after the audience. We were dying. I mean, keeled over, dying. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And he was so offensive, which I love. And somebody in the crowd was starting to get like, whatever. So then he started making fun of them. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And this one guy up front who was like, Mr. Cool, and he had this woman with him with she looked like she was going to float away. Her boobs were like G's. Okay. And
I'm like, float away.
And she had him out. I mean, it was like, where do I even look right now? So of course he's making fun of it. And he's like, where do you expect me to look? Your woman shows up, and he started asking what he's paying per hour and, all this other kind of stuff. And it was, and the guy is getting mad. And so, Brad Garrett's like, you're sitting front row at a comedy show with the bagoons sitting there. Like, what do you think is going to happen here? Like, where do you think this is going? You didn't see this? You didn't see this coming, Anyway, it was fantastic. Okay. But it was, he was going after people. He was looking for every race, gender, like anything. Oh, I loved it so much. And I think he's Jewish. And so then he started going after that, and he's doing his Donald Trump impression, and you could tell he's clearly not a Donald Trump fan. But it was hilarious, just hilarious. I loved it.
Moral of the story: we are fun people.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I laughed so hard. I mean, I'm like, that's it. I went there to laugh. I don't care what he thinks, doesn't think. I'm just there to laugh. Like, it was funny, So back to our PSA. For those of you out there. There's enough serious things going on. My God, you see me getting serious about
Have some fun.
about the DOJ and all
Laugh
this other
a
stuff.
little.
But please, in 99% of our lives, guys, life's too short. Mm-hmm. We'll as our director of coaching says, Reagan, everything's figure-outable.
Figure-outable.
Yeah, everything's figure-outable. We'll figure it out, and I do believe that. Frustration doesn't mean fear. Everything's figure-outable. We're going to do some figure-outing at the advance. But we're fun, guys. If you're someone who's easily offended, we're probably not the podcast for you.
Yeah.
I'm probably not the person you want to be around.
Yeah.
I'm a fun guy.
Yeah.
Shall we end on that note?
That's it. We're good.
All right, my lady, my beautiful side co-host, Tom.
Thank you so much. I did my hair this morning. I don't know if you noticed.
Did your hair? What'd you do? A half? A one?
I'm ready for some draft.
Beer?
No.
Oh.
Ready to go do some football.
Yeah, so everybody, thank you for watching. As always, make sure you give us a good review. Comment below, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, we'd love to hear from you. We look at all of the comments, try to respond to all of them, so comment below. There's just a lot going on right now. And hopefully I will get a chance to meet you in person. And guys, if you do end up at the advance, I am not the star of the show. If you see this lady walking around,
ooh, I'll take a photo.
You get with
sign
her.
Your shirt. Just kidding. Just kidding. Actually, there is a spot for you to sign.
You know what's funny? So she's making shirts for me to sign for people, and
I
thought the front was the back, and I'm like, in my head, I didn't say it, but I'm like, she wants me to sign people's boobs?
And I said, no.
And I'm like, babe, I guess I can pull the shirt away and try to hold it, whatever. And she's like, it's the back of the shirt, Jared. And I'm like, God, it did not. That was not clear. That was not clear.
Anyways, I
was trying to figure it out.
Well, that's what I got to do.
Hey.
I guess, babe, if you're okay with it. Like, if you're okay.
Yeah, that's what I got to do.
It is what it is.
Tom's going to step in as the signer. Right? That's
No, I can't wait though to meet everyone at the advance, and I just love.
Yeah, guys, if you see
people.
Linda or you see Tom, treat them like
people.
superstars.
I'll be handing you all the drink tickets that I get from people.
Oh, there you go. Everyone's
right.
going to be hanging around you.
I don't think I'm drinking until the party.
Sure.
Nice.
You say sure? Mm-hmm. You know me. If I make a decision, I'll go there. I haven't fully decided yet, but I think I might,
We're not gonna have
at the coaches thing, at the dinners beforehand, at the whatever, I think I might just wait till the party.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
I was thinking like a fireball shot before I introduce you on stage, or on stage.
Okay, maybe we can do
or
that.
Or on stage, everyone.
I just broke it. I'll do it. Let's go.
Everyone, introducing Jared James to the stage.
Linda might. We don't know yet. Linda might be introducing me day one, and so if she does, you better give her a rowdy.
I mean, I'm
ovation.
excited. I hope I get to do that. I hope you're ready for that.
If you get to, I already told you if you want to do it, it's yours. Yeah.
I'm excited. Anyways, we need to wrap up.
All right.
Let's go.
We love you guys. Again, some more serious topics. We'll have some non-serious topics coming sometime in the very near future. I can't help what comes up every week. You know, that has to be covered.
We're in a busy season. There's so many conferences out there. We're gonna see a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna see people at conferences. I'm about to start traveling.
I think our Boston's coming up too.
I'm going to Miami this week. I'll be in Miami for a couple days. Guys, message me. Let me know like where I should be going because although I'm at places, I actually have a chance to hang at this one. I'm meeting someone there that a lot of you know, but I won't mention. And if there's some spots I need to check, if there's certain restaurants I need to know, if there's a club I need to take until 4 a.m,
oh gosh,
you just let me know.
Don't let him know. Okay. Anyway,
guys, we love you. I feel like a Christian preacher right now. I've closed 5 times. So we love you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.
bye.
See ya.